Hi, I'm Gary Wisener, inventor of the Wiseway Pellet stove. 13 years ago, I was living in Central California, and yeah, it gets hot during the summer, but during the winter, it gets tule fog in that lasts for 20 to 30 days that you don't even see the sun. I had my grandmother and grandfather living with me, and they were always cold, so I decided I would try to come up with a pellet stove that would make things a lot easier on us, because it was costing me between $300 and $400 a month to keep them warm. So over the years I have developed this stove. Over the last 13 years I've developed this stove. This is what we've come up with. It's the only EPA certified non-electric pellet stove in the world, and it works off a gravity feed, works off of thermal convection and natural draft. It's all run by Mother Nature. Okay, we're going to give you a demonstration of how this works, how you set it up and run it and start it, and go through how that is. Okay, to fire it up, you need to put some pellets in the hopper here, and this holds 1 bag of pellets. And all you have to do then, once you put the pellets in, is you come over here, you lift this primary burn chamber end plate off, fire up the stove, just let it sit in there for a second. What that does is starts the draft flowing through all these tubes, and get your draft going. You just set it there for a minute or so and let it get going. And then there is a lever right here in the top of the hopper that you lift up. I'll let the draft get going for a second. You lift it up. Tighten your little set screw, keeps it open. And what the pellets do, the pellets come from the hopper down through here, fills this tube completely full, and there's a primary burn basket sitting right here. And what happens, the way it feeds, is it'll burn a hole in where the primary basket is. It'll burn a hole, and then it falls in on itself, and that's how it feeds. It can't climb up here because it'll burn a hole and fall in on itself. There's no way for it to climb up. Then it goes from here into a secondary burn chamber where it finishes burning, and then it drops down here into the ashtray, which you would clean once a day or so. Whenever you get started, you'll see a little smoke when you first get going, but once the temperature reaches about 200 degrees, the smoke will go away and it'll be a clean burning stove. Then once you get to the 300 degrees, you take the torch out, and when it gets to 400 degrees, you put the end plate back on, and it's off and running. It's very simple to start. It doesn't take long at all. You can see that it's smoke is starting to go away. Once it reaches 200 degrees, it'll be completely gone. Right now it's about 140 degrees. Okay, it's been running about 8 to 10 minutes now. The temperature is right now at 500 degrees and still climbing. Within 15 or 20 minutes, the stove will be over 700 degrees, and the tubes will start radiating a lot of heat. The way it works is the flame, the gasified flame, is coming through these tubes here, and it will actually be flames all the way up to about here. And so it's heating all this tube in here. Right now we're a little over 500 degrees, and it's still climbing. Within 15 or 20 minutes, it'll be 700 degrees. The way that works, once this heats up, heat rises. So we have a deflector here, and then this main heat shield here. What it does, as the heat rises, it grabs it and it throws it out into the room. Everything stays cold. This is completely cold in the back. It's, I'm sure, going to be zero clearance. We're having it tested, UL tested next week, and we'll have all the distances that at that time will be determined. But we're pretty sure it's going to be zero clearance here. There's not a lot of heat coming off the sides. It all throws it out the front. And this slide down here, what this does is it does two things. Number one, when you open it up, you can see the flames in there. What it does, it draws fresh air in here and cools, but the primary thing it does, it slows the velocity down of the airflow over the primary and secondary burn chambers. And when you do that, it actually gets cooler. It's different than any other stove you've ever seen. When you open up a regular wood stove, it gets more air and gets hotter. This works the draft because it's beyond the burn chamber. So what it does is it actually cools it off. On low temperature, with the high burn chamber that's in here now, it'll run 450 to 500 degrees on low. We have another burn chamber, if you were using it in your home, that you would use. And it burns a little bit cooler. And a bag of pellets will last up to 36 hours on low. On this one, on low, it'll last about 24 hours on a bag. And on high, it'll last about 12 to 13 hours. So it's pretty efficient. And gives off, like I say, a lot of radiant heat. Okay, it's been about 18 to 20 minutes now, and the stove is right at 650 degrees, and it'll go over 700. This has many uses. We can use it in elk tents, in your patio. It's portable. You can use it in your shops, in the cabin, in your home. It has many uses and can go many places. The wheels come off. All they are, they're just on for moving it around, but you just loosen loosen one of the wing nuts and it slides right out. That's all. If you have it in a home, you wouldn't want the wheels on it, so it looks a lot better this way. So very simple, easy to move around. Okay, I've had a customer in Carson City that's fired one of these stoves up in the middle of November and never shut it down until the end of April. All he did was clean the secondary burn chamber once a day, and in order to do that, all you have to do, this is the secondary burn chamber and this is the ashtray, and all you got to do is just slide them out, dump it, and then you can dump the ashtray and you put them back in. And that's all you have to do once a day, and it'll continue to run for months. Once a year, you can put the wheels on it, wheel it outside, and you just squirt a hose down the chimney here and it washes it all clean, and then take it inside. Not much to cleaning. No maintenance, no moving parts. Very, very, very simple. Okay, we have several dealers that sell the stoves around. We have them in some Ace Hardwares. We have them in several places in Oregon, and here in Washington we have a distributor that is Richard Stillwagon, and he's at Zephyr greenhouses. He builds these wonderful greenhouses that he heats with a Wiseway pellet stove. And it has the water heating feature to it, so he actually heats the water and does aquaponics with it also. We'll be showing you the water heating feature here in a minute. So you can find us online at Wiseway Pellet Stoves or zephyrgreenhouses.com. Then there's several dealers around. Okay, here you can see the back side of the stove with the fresh air intake, outside air intake. There's a lid here where you can just check to see how your pellets are flowing if you want. The way this works, this is the primary burn chamber basket and the primary burn chamber. And the way it works is this is a stainless steel basket. It sits right in here. And like I had said before, it sits right in here, it goes in here, and it's setting right below this column right here. And then as it burns, it falls through. This is the secondary burn chamber. It's also stainless steel, 3/16 stainless. And the pellets finish burning up here, and then they fall into the ashtray here. And you just dump this ashtray once a day, and that's all there is to it. So it has two burn chambers, the primary burn chamber, then the secondary burn chamber, and then it falls into the ashtray and finishes. So that's basically the way it works. We also, this primary basket, we have two different sizes. If you're outside or heating water, you would use the high temperature basket. We have a smaller basket if you're going to use it inside your home. And that basket, it will run probably up to 36 hours on a bag of pellets on low with the smaller basket. So it's very versatile. Just interchange your baskets for whatever you're using it for. And that's the way it works. Nothing to it. Okay, the stove only weighs 113 pounds. It's not as heavy as it looks. You can take it into your elk camp, no problem. You can find them at zephyrgreenhousesystems.com or our website, wisewaypelletstoves.com. And like I said, it's pretty much maintenance free, no moving parts. Very efficient, had an EPA rating of 1.9 grams per hour, which is very, very clean. And it's a clean, green heating machine.